Good evening. Welcome to the Strongsville High School College Credit Plus meeting for 2021-2022 school year. I'm really glad to have any of you that are tuning in today to get all of the information for this really great program for your student for potentially next school year. I'm Tracy Davidson. I'm one of the high school counselors, and at the end of the meeting, when we do question and answer, you will see Miss Julia Williams. Also, she'll be helping facilitate questions as we go through the meeting. Well, actually, they'll be at the end. So if you see at the bottom, you can submit questions throughout the presentation using the following link. So you can type it in there, or if you want to use the QR code, it'll take you directly to the Google form where you can type in questions throughout the meeting. So what we're going to watch first is a presentation from Tri-C run by Renee Lamp that goes over everything in regards to College Credit Plus globally. Probably 98% of our students do matriculate to Cuyahoga Community College. So we tend to work really closely with them, with our CCP students.
Mrs. Davidson, your
Yeah.
screen is not being played through. Can you reshare your presentation as presenting as a tab so the sound can be shared, please?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
So can you please represent your presentation in Google Meet as present as a tab?
Okay.
So where it says you are presenting, stop presenting, and then represent, and then select Chrome tab. And that way your sound will be shared.
Okay.
To the College Credit
Thank you.
Plus information session. My name is Renee Lamp, and I am a coordinator for the College Credit Plus program at Cuyahoga Community College's Western Campus located in Parma, Ohio. We have a multitude of locations with Tri-C. We have the Brunswick University Center in Brunswick, Ohio, the Eastern Campus located in Highland Hills, the Metropolitan Campus in downtown Cleveland, of course, the Western Campus in Parma, and then West Shore Campus in Westlake, Ohio. This presentation will be an overview of the College Credit Plus program and the benefits of participating in the program and the benefits of also doing it through Tri-C. So the program is for students who are in grades 7 through 12. It is an opportunity for a student to earn college credit and high school credit at the same time. So those who would like to start the preparation for college by earning credits can do so through the College Credit Plus program. It would be at no cost to the student for tuition and books for students who go to public school. It works a little bit differently for students who are homeschooled or go to private high schools, and we will get into that a little further into the presentation. Students can choose any college course that applies to a degree or certificate program that is offered through Cuyahoga Community College. This does exclude certain courses, including the remedial classes, private instruction classes cannot be covered, phys ed or study abroad, and some religious courses would not be covered by the Ohio Department of Education's funding. The benefits of participating in the College Credit Plus program include earning college credit at no cost to you or at a very minimal cost to you. You can take classes in any of the semesters that we have, which is summer, fall, and spring. Summer is usually late May to early August. The fall semester is August through December, and then spring would be January through early May. And the maximum number of credits per year for every student is still 30 credits, and that includes any CCP credits at the college and at the high school or middle school. The CCP courses are weighted the same as AP, which is advanced placement, or IB courses, interbaccalaureate classes. It just depends on which classes would benefit you the most, and that's something that you would want to discuss with your high school counselor on if you want to do CCP, AP, or IB. Each college course of 3 or more credits counts as a year-long high school course, so you could do a fall semester English class, and that would fulfill a high school English class credit for the year just in one college semester. There's a large selection of courses that are offered, and it is a more advanced and challenging environment for students sometimes when compared to their high school because it's at a college level. Why would you want to choose Cuyahoga Community College? We have so many convenient locations that we discussed at the beginning. We have many types of formats that our classes are taught. So you can do in-person, hybrid, online. Synchronous means that you're all meeting at the same time. Asynchronous means that you can do it at your own pace. And we also have CCP classes that are at participating high schools, so some students can take a CCP or a college level course right at their high school. The class time options are very convenient. You can do morning, afternoons, evenings. Some students need to do weekends due to their extracurricular activities. We have student services that are offered to all of our students, including CCP students. This includes academic counseling, personal counseling, tutoring, career centers that can give you some information on job opportunities, transfer center, which can help you prepare to go on to a 4-year institution. And we also offer the RTA U-Pass to our CCP students so that they can have transportation if needed. You can earn an Associate's of Art degree while completing your high school diploma. You could also earn an Associate of Science degree along with some certificates. And you can work with one of the many Tri-C coordinators that we have at each campus and our counselors. We try to work very closely with the students and families so that you understand the process and you're successful in the program. Some of the challenges that students face when they go through the program, the courses can be rigorous and fast-paced, more so than what you might be used to when you attend middle school or high school. If you are underperforming, then there are some consequences that you would face. Failure or withdrawal from a course may result in you or your family having to pay for the tuition and books. So it would originally be covered by the Ohio Department of Education, and then that cost could be put on you if you fail or you withdraw after the deadline. The grades that you earn will become part of the permanent record at Cuyahoga Community College and appear on your high school transcript as well. So if you earned an F grade at Tri-C while you were in the CCP program, that F can still be reflected on your high school transcript. Coordination of participation in the high school athletic programs or activities that you might want to be involved in or are involved in. Sometimes that can be difficult to navigate while you're also taking classes through a college or university. And the college environment sometimes is just so different for students that, sometimes it's not always a perfect fit for every student who wants to participate. We do offer student accessibility services and disability services to all of our students. So any student who is on an IEP or a 504 plan could be eligible to receive accommodations. It's based on documentation, so we would require you to schedule an appointment with the Student Accessibility Services office, and they can help you to submit your paperwork and have it processed so that your instructors are aware of any accommodation that you might need while you take classes. We also make students aware of the Family Education Rights and Privacy Act, also known as FERPA, which protects the privacy of student records. That means that if you'd like assistance from your parents while you take classes, you need to put them on your FERPA form so that they can call and email on your behalf and get information in regards to what is going on in the process for you, whether it's working with the counseling department or if you're trying to communicate with an instructor or your parent wants to communicate with an instructor, they should be on the FERPA form for that. So getting started as a College Credit Plus student, the Tri-C preferred deadline is April 15th. We do this so that you can be fully prepared as the semesters begin. It gets very busy and hectic and the classes start to fill up. So we encourage students to pay attention to the deadline. You have to have your intent to participate form into your high school counselor or middle school counselor by April 1st. That is required by the state of Ohio. So you need to make sure that you're paying attention to the deadline at your school. Once you've submitted your intent to participate, then you can complete the online application for Tri-C. We do have a CCP application. And once that has been processed and you've been emailed your student ID number, then you can submit a transcript or your qualifying ACT or SAT scores to us in order to be accepted and determine eligibility. Depending on your GPA and your grade level, we could use that to help you be eligible, or you may need to take the Tri-C placement test. It just depends on your grade level and your GPA and where you're at in the process. So that is something that you could work with the coordinators to help you get through that process and determine your eligibility. For the registration process, once you've received your decision letter and the registration instructions via US mail, you would then meet with your high school counselor to discuss the courses you would like to take. Then the high school counselor, your middle school counselor will submit the authorization to attend form to Tri-C. It's done electronically, so it's just sent to us via electronically, and we would process that in a few days. You'll get an email telling you that that was processed, and in that email you will receive instructions on how to schedule an appointment with a Tri-C academic counselor. And during that appointment, you would choose specific courses that would fulfill your degree requirements, and then you'll be emailed a link to register for the courses online. You would also want to attend a College Credit Plus orientation. We do try to do those electronically now or virtually, so either one of those options that become available for you to participate in the orientation is something that we encourage and we want every student to do. If you attend a private school or you are homeschooled, you need to make sure that you've done your intent to participate by April 1st through the Ohio Department of Education's website. And if you need more information on that, you can always email us and we can get you the links that you need. You have to apply for funding every year that you want to participate in the CCP program. Again, that's through the Ohio Department of Education or the ODE's website, and you have to abide by their deadline. They have very strict deadlines, so you must make sure that you pay attention to those deadlines and have all of your paperwork uploaded to them by April 1st or the deadline that they have selected. And you may need to request your college acceptance letter every year that you want to participate. So again, you can just email a coordinator or one of our offices and we can help you to get a copy of your acceptance letter if you need it. And you could receive a credit towards books if you have an MOU on file with Tri-C, which is a memorandum of understanding. Some of the benefits of attending Tri-C after the CCP program. So you've graduated high school, you've completed the CCP program with us. Some of the benefits to stay with Cuyahoga Community College is the ease of transfer. Everything's already here. You've already developed a transcript with us. You're familiar with how our online forums work, including My Tri-C Space and Blackboard. We offer honors and scholars programs, and that would be a benefit to you just like it would be any other incoming student. We have career preparation, and you would hopefully already be familiar with some of our offices. The student experience and engagement would still be available to you. So clubs and organizations, the athletics that we have, our study abroad program would then be available to you in creative arts. Here's the information for the offices that we have. Again, we have offices for the Eastern Campus, Metropolitan Campus, Western Campus, and Brunswick University Center are both covered by the Western Campus coordinators, and we have West Shore Campus coordinator as well. So if there's any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. Email is a very quick way for us to respond. You can also call and leave voicemails, but we highly encourage emails due to the volume of students that we have. And I thank you for your time and your attention today. Hello and welcome to the College Credit Plus information session. My name is Renee Lamp and I am a coordinator.
Hold on a minute so I can get back to presentation. Okay, things that you need to consider about College Credit Plus is, first of all, is my child ready for college level content, especially for our students that are going into 7th and 8th and perhaps 9th grade. One of the things you really need to consider is that the professors will treat everybody in the class as though they are mature enough to listen to any college level content. So if you have a psychology class that talks about some very sensitive topics, they're not going to censor those topics because they have a CCP student in the class. Another thing to consider is if you're going to be taking perhaps a college composition, you also need to realize that they're expecting your child to already know how to complete a research paper, writing it in MLA style. It is an essay-based class, and most of those skills are taught in 9th and 10th grade. So if they've not learned those things previously, they aren't going to reteach that as a professor at the college level. The professors will only communicate. Hold on. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to toggle back and forth when we've had a video that was embedded into the presentation. So hopefully everybody can see the screen I'm talking about now. I just started talking about number 1. So if this number 2, if the student doesn't pass or withdraws after the deadline, the financial responsibility falls on the family. So one thing that's really important to know is, again, once you sign up for CCP, if you withdraw after the 14-day deadline, or if your student does not pass the class, you're looking at about $100 a credit hour plus books. So it usually runs approximately $350 a class that the family would have to pay for. I know that Renee had mentioned in her video that professors will only communicate with the student. They have no obligation to communicate with a parent unless the student fills out the FERPA on their MyTriC space. So that basically gives parents the right to reach out to a professor and ask questions. I had to do this for my daughter when she did CCP just because I wanted to make sure that I could still, while she was in high school, be able to help her facilitate some things she might be confused about. Number 4, transportation is not provided by the school. So the rides to and from Tri-C, a student or their parent would need to get them there. Number 5, is my child responsible enough to meet all deadlines for registration each semester? Deadlines are non-negotiable. We will go over towards the end of the presentation all of the deadlines that Strongsville has for each part of College Credit Plus. We want to hold their feet to the fire and hold them accountable so that the process is easier for them and they're not waiting until the last second scrambling to try and get into a class because they didn't do what they needed to do on time. Number 6, if your child is involved in athletics or perhaps extracurricular activities that take place after school, sometimes it's tricky to juggle their Strongsville classes and fit in their CCP classes. So oftentimes some of the kids that are in athletics, they want to have their Strongsville classes at the end of the day so they can go straight to their sport after school. And putting a class in the morning for CCP doesn't really leave them a lot of time. For example, usually a College Credit Plus class is a 3 credit hour class. So it could be a Monday, Wednesday, or a Tuesday, Thursday, and the class would last an hour and a half. Classes don't typically start before 7:30 p.m. or 7:30 a.m. for an early class, so they wouldn't even be getting out of that class until 9 o'clock. And by the time they get back to the high school, get in their car, get back to the high school, they might be here in time for fourth period. So you've already, with one class, knocked out an opportunity for 3 class periods at the high school. So usually our kids will take their high school classes in the morning and then their CCP classes in the afternoon. So just something to think about if you are a student who's really involved in sports or extracurricular activities that would take place right after school. So now we're just going to go through CCP at Tri-C. It's a step-by-step guide. We will be posting this presentation along with just the slideshows for you guys to re-access, so you make sure that you can check back on something perhaps you didn't remember, or make sure you're not missing any of the steps. So when you watch the presentation by Tri-C, there was one error, and that is due to the whole COVID pandemic. They have pushed back the intent to participate due date to May 1st, 2021. So in the video, it reflected April 1st, and it is indeed May 1st. It is a hard, fast deadline. If it is turned in on May 2nd, they happen to be sick on May 1st. They've had from Tuesday the 16th, when we will have these forms available in our office, all the way until May 1st to get it turned in. So it definitely would bode them well to do it sooner. Also, because they mentioned in the video that April 15th is typically when they want to make sure that students are done with things for summer and fall. So it's really important that they stay ahead of the game with this. The images here, so you know what you're looking at. You can print them at home. We actually have them all in the guidance office, but the first one would be the intent to participate form. And if you refer back to the slideshow later, you can print them at home. And the next one is the textbook policy. Both of these forms, the one on the left and the one on the far right, have to be turned in by May 1st. If you decide to fill it out electronically, make a copy of it first, then send it to Linda Slaney. The address is above, who is our record secretary, and she will make sure that they are marked as turning them in by the deadline. So again, we want to make sure you know the deadlines. This actually is attached to the we have in our office, and you can take this particular page off and put it on your refrigerator so that you make sure you don't miss any of these deadlines. So February 11th is today, attending the meeting, and actually before May 1st, they already opened fall and summer registration. So registration for fall and summer begins March 29th. So kids that are going to be ahead of the game are going to be much more likely to get into the classes that they really want to take with maybe a particular professor or at a particular time or in a particular format, such as an online class. So the sooner the better. May 1st, the intent to participate form is due to the high school. And it's also the last day, we're also making that the last day for a high school counselor to complete the authorization to attend form for the summer term. So they should have by then actually applied, received their acceptance notification, and then they will meet with us to talk about their high school schedule and how they're going to fit in CCP classes. June 1st is the first day of the summer session, and it is also the last day for an SHS counselor to complete the authorization to attend form for the fall term. Reason being is counselors go on vacation, just like teachers do, and so we won't be available to be able to complete those over the summer. So we want to make sure that the students get them done ahead of time. August 11th, that's approximately when counselors will be returning to the high school and kind of solidifying schedules for the 21-22 school year. So we need to know that our students have verified schedule for fall term at Tri-C or whatever college or university they're doing CCP through. On August 30th, that's the day the fall semester begins. Then you jump ahead a couple months to mid-October. It seems early, but that's actually when registration opens for spring semester. So we try to encourage our kids to meet with us about a week before the October 19th date so that they can get an appointment scheduled, get that form filled out to register for the spring semester. December 1st, though, is the very last day that they can meet with us to schedule for the spring term. Finally, shortly before we return from winter break, students must have the verified schedule for the spring term at their college, and that term begins for 2022 on January 8th. So step 3 is you need to apply. And again, you will be able to access this as soon as tomorrow or perhaps early next week. This is the exact link they would go to apply through the CCP program. The student will create an account, apply as a College Credit Plus student, and keep in mind they will need their Social Security number in order to fill out this application. Step 4, submit a transcript request form. Again, this is linked for you right on the slide. For students who have not already paid the $10 fee, those students who have already paid are our current CCP students. So they have already paid that $10 fee for the life of high school transcripts and would not need to pay it again. If you are new to the CCP process, this fee will be added on the student's Pay Schools account. Now, we ask for kids that are in 9th through 11th grade to fill out this transcript release form. If you are a current middle school student, you won't have a high school transcript, so you will need to have your counselor submit your most recent report card to Tri-C for you. Step 5 would be reviewing your test scores and your GPA. So for next year, the CCP criteria for getting in is if you are in grades 9 through 11 and you have a grade point average of 3.0 or higher, you will not have to take a placement test or submit any test scores. If your GPA is below a 3.0 or you are in the 6th, 7th, or 8th grade, you'll have to submit an ACT or SAT score or can opt to take the placement test through Tri-C. If you've taken your ACT, your scores are most likely part of your Strongsville High School transcript. And when we send that transcript over, if you have that qualifying test score, you will be automatically admitted. So if you see on the chart on the right, if you have an 18 on your English ACT, you will be accepted through your English score. Again, if your student is going to be taking a math course or some science courses that have a math prerequisite, you would need a 22 on your ACT to bypass the math placement test that Tri-C offers. If you have not taken the ACT or your scores do not meet the requirement, you must take the placement test. This is given at Tri-C and you must make arrangements with Tri-C. Again, at the bottom, there's a link to their testing page, which gives you explicit instructions on everything you would need to do. Those are still being held virtually, so it's pretty easy to do that. It's a written test. They'll probably watch you write an essay, and then someone will score it. If you get a 5 or higher, you get accepted. If you're taking a math placement test, it might look a little different, but it is probably still going to be some kind of a virtual test setup. Then you wait for admission decision from Tri-C, and we just found out that this letter will actually come via email. So it's not anything you're going to get in your mailbox. Just make sure that your student is checking their email and reading them, which I know they get a lot of emails right now with having Google Classrooms from their teachers. So try not to let this email from Tri-C get buried in your inbox. So step 7, you've received an acceptance letter. Congrats. Now you get to choose what classes you want to take. So you're going to review the steps that are on the acceptance letter. And this video under the second bullet is great. It takes you step by step on how you can go to Tri-C's class schedule page, look for a particular class, look for a particular campus, look for particular times, professors, all of that information is going to be found. And it's easy to do if you follow the link for the step-by-step process. Then you're going to decide which classes you want to take, review the class schedule on Tri-C's schedule, and then come to your counselor with the classes and the class numbers that you're interested in taking. We do ask that they bring the CRN number, which is a 5-digit code that would indicate the day and the time of the class, and which they would hope to enroll. So make sure that you don't have to bring that. A lot of kids don't bring that. And Tri-C will actually help them with that when they have their counseling appointment. But it just does kind of sometimes eliminate a little bit of work ahead of time. Write these down again and make an appointment with your SHS counselor. At that point, we will sit down with your student, fill out the authorization to attend form with them online, and make sure that their high school schedule is going to mesh up the courses they're hoping to take at Tri-C. So after your SHS counselor approves your classes and submits the authorization to attend form, you'll then communicate directly with the Tri-C CCP counselors. So the SHS counselors portion of this process commences at this point, and then it is up to the students to make sure that they follow through with every other step that comes from Tri-C. They will contact the students via email, the next steps to follow. They may be required to attend an in-person meeting or a virtual meeting with a Tri-C counselor. Usually when it's your very first time taking a CCP class, you absolutely have to attend some sort of a counseling meeting with a Tri-C counselor. And also, if you're registering for more than 2 classes, you typically will have to meet with a Tri-C counselor. Make sure you read the emails very carefully to ensure that you've been enrolled in the class. This is the student's responsibility. So they need to make sure that they're enrolled, they're checking their emails, they're looking in their My Tri-C space to make sure that their registration actually went through. If you are taking classes that are offered in-house at SHS, you don't need to go any further. So there would not need to be an authorization to attend form done. You would just apply, get accepted, make sure that those particular classes are on your high school schedule. You can skip that last step. This is just a quick list, steps for a successful CCP process. It basically goes over everything that I just told you in a nutshell. So again, something you can refer back to if need be. So we do have 3 CCP classes that are in-house. So these particular classes are taught by Strongsville High School teachers, and they are Tri-C certified, so they're able to teach these classes. And it's really nice. We've seen this grow more and more in the last couple of years, and are definitely seeing more of our students taking the CCP classes in-house rather than taking them on Tri-C's campus or even virtually. So College Comp 1010, College Comp 1020, and General Psychology are the 3 classes that we offer here at SHS. And again, if you have questions, you can type them in the tiny URL link or use the QR code, and we will answer questions shortly. So even though 98% of our students matriculate to Tri-C for CCP classes, we actually do partner with all of these institutions. So Cleveland State, Hiram, Lake Erie, Lakeland Community College, Lorain, Kent, Akron, Tiffin, and Youngstown. I will say that maybe we have 1 or 2 a year that do Akron or Kent. We have a handful that'll do Cleveland State. All of our students that are planning to take multivariable calculus and linear algebra as seniors next year, they actually will need to go through the CCP process through Cleveland State University. And I know Mr. Scott is usually very good at making sure these kids get everything submitted and turned in on time, but they would be applying to Cleveland State and not Tri-C. Again, here's just a bigger calendar of due dates that I discussed previously. And at this point, I think Mrs. Williams and I are going to take some questions that have been typed in. I'm going to have to go check the questions out because I haven't had time to really take a close look at them. We'll toggle back and forth. I'll answer a question, she'll answer a question. And if there's anything that we missed or didn't answer, I've actually put down all of the breakdown of counselors. So by alphabet at the high school, our emails are listed. And then I also put down the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade counselors. So if you have questions and you're a middle school student or a middle school parent, you can certainly reach out to them and hopefully that they can get those answers for you. And if they can't, then they will actually reach out to us and get the answer for you.
Okay, this is Mrs. Williams. I'm another one of the guidance counselors here at Strongsville High School, and I'm going to try to start answering some of the questions. I think the majority of the questions have already been answered, so I'm going to just start. They asked, will the school pay for summer school CCP? Yes, we will, without a doubt. It's the school year starts for CCP in the summer, fall, and spring. Can students take any course they want? Yes and no. Like she said in the presentation, there are certain courses that they will not pay for, like PE, religious courses, individual tutoring. So they pay for most of the courses, but there are a few that they will not pay for. Will economics, financial literacy, and algebra 2 be taught at Tri-C? Some of those courses will be taught at Tri-C. They may have a little different name. It may be personal finance instead of financial literacy. And students take CCP for the health requirement for graduation. Yes, they can. We have several kids that do that from year to year. They usually take it over the summer to get it out of the way. And they wanted to know they're a freshman. Yes, if you're a freshman, 8th grade going into your freshman year, yes, you can do it in the summer online, or you can choose whatever platform that Tri-C is actually offering for you. One of the questions was, do you have the opportunity to do it if you are a solo student? The answer to that is yes. You're still one of Strongsville High School students. You could actually be a full-time CCP student, just like you are a full-time solo student. Do I have to apply to a form? Let me see. Do I have to apply? No, you don't have to get any extra paperwork. You would have to do the same thing everyone else has to do for CCP. You would have to apply to Tri-C and get accepted in time for their summer schools to start. And we would do an authorization to attend form that is online, and we do that with the student. We get the information from you and we fill out that form. So yes, you could do that. How long are the CCP classes? That depends on the college. Some of them are an hour and a half or 2 hours, depending on how much time they meet. They do not meet the 45 or 55 minutes like we do in our school day. So you would have to look at the college and also the days that they meet and the times that they meet at that particular college. And we had a lot of questions about sending a link. The link and the presentations and all the paperwork that you will need will be on Strongsville High School Guidance webpage. You'll be able to find everything you need there in a couple of days. It will take us a little bit to get everything posted for you. This slideshow will be posted on our webpage.
The slideshow will definitely be posted on our webpage, and I do think that might be the easiest and quickest way to get the links you need. I can probably get that posted tonight before I go home, but I do know that as far as this entire presentation I'm doing right now, it's being recorded. So as soon as we get that from SCS TV, the link will be posted, and then people that missed the presentation will actually be able to watch the whole thing we're doing right now, even with all of our fun tech glitches.
Another one of the questions was, if I am not an American citizen, am I allowed to take CCP? I think the answer is yes, but I don't know that. That's something you're going to have to check out with Tri-C. So if I were you, I would give Tri-C CCP office a call and talk to someone in that area and ask that question to them. And a government
Do you
want to go ahead?
Sure.
Go ahead.
What government classes are offered through CCP? Well, you can actually go on that link that I showed earlier in the presentation to search courses, but the course that typically covers the high school government would be called American National Government. So that would be the one that a student would want to take if they're trying to fulfill their graduation requirement as well as get some college credit. You have a link to a PDF of this presentation. No, we will have the slides, which you should be able to print out, and I will post those after we are done tonight. If the student completes CCP credits, will that count towards the bigger colleges like Kent State? Could not quite catch the reference to algebra courses and Mr. Scott's information. Okay, so College Credit Plus courses will transfer to any state school in the state of Ohio. It is the law. As far as transferring to a private school, that's definitely going to be up to like a Case Western or a BW. That's up to the college. They have the right to take or deny any of those courses. And when I was talking about the algebra course, the highest math course we offer at Strongsville High School is multivariable calculus and linear algebra. And that class is taught by Mr. Scott through Cleveland State University. So that is the one class that students would definitely need to work through Cleveland State University and their CCP application for. That's a small number of students, but typically we have those students watching this type of a presentation. So Mr. Scott, again, it would be the kids that are in AP Calculus BC currently. Those are the kids that I'm referring to. What class at Tri-C would be considered a health credit at SHS? It's actually called personal health. So that is the Tri-C class that the student would want to sign up for that would cover their health credit for high school graduation requirements. The last question that I see on here is it possible to take Kent CCP classes directly instead of Tri-C classes? Absolutely. All of those colleges that were on a previous page, I think there are about 10 or 11 of them. Those are all schools that Strongsville has basically some kind of a connection with in regards to CCP. And so all of those colleges are available for our students to take classes from. Again, I mentioned that I know this year we had one Kent State student that did CCP, and I know at least one Akron student. So absolutely. I think that is all of the questions that we have. But again, if you see your counselor up there and you have additional questions that you come up with later or didn't get a chance to answer, definitely shoot us an email. We're more than happy to answer them. And again, this presentation, as soon as we get the link, will be posted, and I will post the slides before I leave today. Thank you so much to everybody that tuned in. Really appreciate it, and hope you have a great weekend.
Good night.